So today children, we will continue with our chapter How do organisms reproduce, and we are going to study about the various types of asexual reproduction. Now children, we are going to see some of the activities mentioned in your textbook. It is activity number 8.2. This you have done in your previous class also, where it was asked you to wet a slice of bread and keep it in a cool, moist and dark place. Observe the surface of the slice with a magnifying glass. Record your observations for a week. Hope you remember the activity. We will conclude with few of the activities after seeing mentioned in the book what the new topic we are going to start with. Spore formation. Generally, it is noticed in simple multicellular organism, for example, bread mold, rhizopus. When bread is kept under moist, cool condition in dark place, after 2 days we can notice fungi with thread-like structures called hyphae are developed on bread mold. Hyphae are not reproductive parts, this we have to keep in mind, but the blob-like structure on the top of the stick we can see the sporangia. These sporangia contains the spores which can develop into new rhizopus when there is the favorable conditions. 8.3, where it is asked to observe a permanent slide of amoeba under a microscope. Similarly, observe another permanent slide of amoeba showing binary fission. Now compare the observations of both the slides. So this again we can't do right now, but as soon as we begin with our lab, we are going to surely do this activity. Coming to the next activity, 8.4, here it is asked to collect some water from a lake or pond that appears dark green and contains filamentous structures. Put 1 or 2 filaments on a slide. Put a drop of glycerine on these filaments and cover it with a cover slip. Observe the slide under a microscope. Can you identify different tissues in the Spirogyra filaments? Here we are seeing the Spirogyra under the microscope. We collected water from the lake or pond which appears dark green and filamentous structures. We have put 1 or 2 filaments on the slide and covered it with the cover slip after putting glycerine on that. After this, see how it appears under the microscope. Filament like structure, green color, you are able to see here. This thread like structure, it is an algae, Spirogyra, green colored. See here we are doing the coarse and then fine adjustment. When we do the fine adjustment, it is more clear and more clearly visible. As it is green in color, so we can say that chloroplasts are present here and it is doing the process of photosynthesis. So food is prepared in this algae, Spirogyra. This is how we can see it under the microscope. Now coming to the fragmentation. In Spirogyra, which is a multicellular organism, both sexual and asexual reproduction takes place. During asexual reproduction, on maturation, Spirogyra breaks down into small pieces called fragments, and each fragment grows as a new individual. Here we are going to study about the modes of reproduction. The two types of reproduction are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In the asexual reproduction, it is again divided into different parts. Here is an example shown of a potato tuber. This is dividing into two daughter cells, and the division is the mitotic division. The daughter cells are identical to the parent. So here one parent is involved and the two daughter cells are formed. Asexual reproduction in unicellular organism. It is again of three types: binary fission, multiple fission, and budding. First we will see binary fission. This method of asexual reproduction is employed in prokaryotes and some protozoans. Here is an example of amoeba where first the nuclei is dividing into two and then two daughter cells are formed. It occurs in the favorable conditions, when the environmental conditions are favorable. Here is shown the different planes. The plane in amoeba is irregular. In paramecium, it divides in a transverse plane and longitudinal in euglena. Coming to the multiple fission. This we can see is the division of the parent cell into numerous daughter cells. This happens when the conditions are adverse. This also occurs, see, the multiple fission in unicellular algae and fungi. Here is an example of amoeba. Binary fission you have seen, but under the unfavorable conditions, amoeba undergoes multiple fission. Here a cyst is formed. It forms into a circular form and then a covering is there forming a cyst. Inside the cyst, the nucleus divides into various nuclei and then they encircle with the cytoplasm. When the condition becomes favorable, the cyst breaks and these daughter cells come out to grow into the new mature amoeba. Coming to the budding. Here you have seen this experiment also, children, budding in yeast. It is also asexual form of reproduction and the nuclei of the parent cell divides and goes into the bud. Here you can see the division of the daughter into the daughter nuclei. One is going in the bud. It enlarges and then it detaches from the parent. Hydra is one of the simplest sedentary organism which attaches itself to a substratum by the disc-like structure. It has free moving tentacles on the anterior end and there is an opening called as the mouth. It is a freshwater animal. At the site of the reproduction, a bud develops. These are the regenerative cells from where the bud develops, and then again at the end of this tubular structure there is an opening called as the mouth. It is encircled by the tentacles, and when it develops into a fully mature individual, it detaches from the parent body. Fine. Another activity given to us is to take a potato and observe its surface. Can notches be seen? Cut the potato into small pieces such that some pieces contain a notch or bud and some do not. Spread some cotton on a tray and wet it. Place the potato pieces on this cotton. Note where the pieces with the buds are placed. Observe changes taking place in these potato pieces over the next few days. Make sure that the cotton is kept moistened. Which are the potato pieces that give rise to fresh green shoots and roots? Another activity is select a money plant. Cut some pieces such that they contain at least one leaf. Cut out some other portions between two leaves. Dip one end of all the pieces in water and observe over the next few days which ones grow and which give rise to fresh leaves. What can you conclude from your observations?
Here we have a raw potato and a cotton
Now
bed.
we will see this potato activity in the lab.
Cut the potato in pieces such that there are some pieces with buds on them and some are plain. Place the pieces on the cotton bed. Pour some water on them. Let it remain for some days. You see the growth of buds in the pieces where there were buds. But the plain pieces have not developed any of these structures. If we plant these buds in the soil, a potato plant will grow. So potato plants can reproduce through buds that develop on its nutritious underground modified stems.
Here we are going to see vegetative reproduction in bryophyllum. Here the vegetative reproduction takes place by the leaf of the plant bryophyllum. The leaf is placed on the soil and some water is poured over it. After some time, we can see that at the notches of the leaves, some small plants are growing, as you can see here, and the leaf has started fixing it on the soil. Every 3 to 4 days we have to pour water on it. See, the leaves has fixed on the soil. You will not be able to remove the leaf easily, as at the notches small plants are grown. They have developed the roots which are going deep into the soil. It takes about 15 to 20 days. See, the leaf is removed from the soil here and the roots are developed on the notches. Small plants are growing. So after seeing the various activities of your textbook and videos and the different topics which we discussed today, we are going to revise what we have studied right now. Just today we studied about the asexual reproduction, where we have come to know that only one parent is required and the offspring is like a clone to its parent. The types of asexual reproduction we studied were fission, fragmentation, regeneration, and spore formation. Under the fission, we have seen that it occurs in the unicellular organism and it creates new individual, as in amoeba we have seen. Here we saw in amoeba that the nucleus was dividing into two daughter nuclei and then two daughter cells, which again mature into different two individuals. But when the conditions are not favorable, the amoeba is dividing into using the way of multiple fission. So cyst was formed, and when the condition was favorable, that cyst breaks and many nuclei or the many daughter cells come out from the cyst. Likewise, leishmania also divides into different planes and then daughter cells are formed. This plane means that according to its orientation. Here is an example of malarial parasite. This is also dividing in a multiple fission manner as we saw in amoeba as well. Then we saw that how fragmentation was occurring in the Spirogyra plant, and we have seen the regeneration in Hydra. Here we are going to see what is the difference between the two. Under the fragmentation, what we saw is that the organism is simply breaking up into smaller pieces, and upon maturation, and each piece will grow into a new organism or a new individual. These fragments have the capability to growing into a new individual. Whereas in regeneration, what we saw that these are the multicellular organism and they have the ability to give rise to new individual from their body parts, any of the body part. As here in the diagram you can see, here is a planaria and it has been shown to be divided into three parts. One is having the head part, another is having the middle portion and then the lower portion. But each of the body part is having the capability to form the rest remaining body part which are not there. So that is called as the regeneration. So here the parts which are missing are regenerated, whereas in the fragmentation it is the broken parts are now forming the complete individual, and these are the Spirogyra, plant cuttings and the starfishes, examples of the fragmentation. Coming to the budding. This video also we have observed. Here you can see that in budding, the Hydra is using its regenerative cells. Regenerative means those cells can regenerate. They can generate the new individual. So these are forming the process of budding, using the process of budding and forming a new individual. Here what happened in the Hydra? A new bud developed at the part which is the specific site where the bud can develop. These buds developed into tiny individuals, and when these individuals are fully mature, they detached from the parent body and became new independent individuals. Then we have come across vegetative propagation. Many plants in which parts like root, stem and leaves can develop into new plant under appropriate conditions. This is called as the vegetative propagation. Here in the vegetative propagation, there are some benefits of the vegetative propagation. Here, as in sugarcane, rose and grapes, they can grow into a new plant. Seedless plants can also propagate, because when pollination is not there, seeds will not be there, which we are going to study next in the sexual mode of reproduction in plants. So seedless plant variety can be grown, and genetically similar plants, you know, in the beginning of the chapter only we have discussed that DNA copying is there. So here the same genetically similar plants will be grown, and early bearing of flowers and fruits is also one of the advantage of the vegetative propagation. So these are the advantages which just now we have discussed. Now we will go and discuss the in-text questions. Based on the topic taught today, you can write the answers for the in-text questions given in your book. See children, under the vegetative propagation, we have seen from the flow chart there are two methods, natural and artificial. Under the natural method, the new plants are grown from the root, stem or leaf of the plant. Coming to the artificial method, we can see that there are 4 another methods: cutting, grafting, layering and tissue culture. Here in the cutting, we can see that in the rows you might have seen a part of the stem is cut and the cut end grows into new plant when placed in moist soil. The same way such new plants vegetatively are grown in mango, guava, lychee, lemon. So here again one parent is involved, from it a new stem part is taken, but this is done artificially. People are involved to do this work. The next is the layering. See here in the diagram you can see the stem of a plant is bent down until it touches the soil. The stem is then cut once it develops roots and grows into a new plant. Example: lemon, rose, jasmine. See the part of the stem which is under the soil. After some time, from the node part it can grow few roots. Then it is cut from there and the new plant develops. Here you can see, and this method is called as the layering, and it is again an artificial method of vegetative propagation. Another method is grafting. This is also very common. Here the stem of a plant is cut and then fitted on another strong plant and covered with grafting wax. Examples are apples, oranges, watermelon and ornamental plants. Here the two parts, one is called as the stalk and the another which is fixed into it is called the scion. See, two stem part you can see. The lower one is the stalk where a slit open is kept there, and the one which is to be fitted is having some branches on the nodal region is taken where there is some nodes there, so that the branches can develop, and then it is again cut into V shape, and inside the slit this V shape is grafted and then a new plant develops. So this is also artificial method. Now this is the tissue culture. This term you might have heard many a times. Tissue culture. It is a collection of techniques used to maintain or grow plant cells, tissues or organs under sterile conditions on a nutrient culture medium of known composition. So here the nutrient medium, we know what nutrient is required for which plant, that nutrient is taken, and then new plant cells either we can grow, tissues or even the organs. So here in tissue culture, by removing tissue or separating cells from the growing tip of a plant. As you know children, the growing tip are containing the meristematic cells. They have the capability to divide. So those cells are taken. The cells are then placed in artificial medium where we know that they can divide rapidly and they are rich in the nutrient required for that cell, and this unorganized part or a group of cells they will develop, and that is called as the callus. So it is now again transferred to some another medium which are having the hormones, so that now this callus can grow into new organs, or that is called as the growth and differentiation. Those cells will again now differentiate into another organs. So these plantlets, these saplings sort of things, so plantlets they are called, and they will again be placed in the soil and then they can grow into mature plants. This tissue culture, many plants can be grown from one parent in disease-free conditions. So this technique is commonly used for ornamental plants. This is very interesting technique. Any of the portion can be grown. Nutrient medium can be according to our will, and the unorganized group of cell is called callus. Then again it is, see, twice the medium is taken. The second time the medium taken is rich in hormones, so that the growth and differentiation can be observed. So now children, you are going to write these in-text questions in your notebook after watching this video. The first question is, how does binary fission differ from multiple fission? Here you will draw a column and put the heading binary fission and multiple fission, and then point wise you are going to write the answers. How will an organism be benefited if it reproduces through spores? This also you will write point wise and draw the diagram as well. Can you think of reasons why more complex organisms cannot give rise to new individuals through regeneration? Read this chapter from the book and then try to frame your answer. Why is vegetative propagation practiced for growing some types of plants? This also is there. You can read through the book as well as this PPT and the video, and you will be able to write the answer. Why is DNA copying an essential part of the process of reproduction? So children, please write all these answers in your notebook for today.